I'll be right back.
Hey, good night.
I'll be right back.
Just gonna leave on that note.
Oh man.
And I won't be letting anybody on while we're while somebody's up, just because they. Wait for Jesse.
Okay.
I love you guys.
Now I talk?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm gonna talk now. We're live on Twitch now too, right? Yeah, I'm right about this now. All right, welcome to Comedy in the Apocalypse. It's our inaugural open mic, and we've got a great lineup for you tonight. I'm Maddie. I'm hosting. If you're watching this in our room or from Twitch, please subscribe to Stab on Twitch. That's $5 or free if you have an Amazon Prime. And if you can't do that, just follow them and keep up. Now we're going to move on to rules. Pretty simple, 5-minute sets. I can't control you. Buddy can control you. I can. But if I decide I want to control you, I'm just going to start singing over your performance. And I'm bad at it. So don't push me. We'll do jokes now. Even though I'm not dating anyone right now, I'm still taking a lot of nudes because I have so much free time all the time. I look great, honestly. I'm not gaining weight during this time. I look great. But I've been taking a lot of nudes, but I don't have anyone to send them to. And I'm like, what am I going to do with these? And, I'm out of work, so I'm like, let's just sell them, Let's sell them. But my family... They're friends with me and they follow me on all of my social medias, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. They're invading my space. And so I've decided the only place left for me is LinkedIn. Which is a good place to do business, but it's an issue because at my last job interview, the guy asked if I had an OnlyFans. You're a man and you're not laughing at that. You are lying to yourself and your girlfriend. I've been watching a lot of Top Chef in this off time, and I noticed every episode, one of the judges will tell a contestant that their food either lacks point of view or has a good point of view. And your first thought on that when you hear it is that food does not have a point of view. Because it does not. You're wrong. It does. For example, granola bars, they believe in the Green New Deal, and they take all of their first dates hiking. Microwave dinners are all divorced alcoholics, and the only thing they believe in is pain. Smoothie bowls, they believe in the healing power of essential oils, and they ask you your star sign the second they meet you. And quesaritos are the best because all they believe in is the legalization and decriminalization of marijuana. I mentioned that I don't have a job right now. I did get laid off. I got laid off before I finished job training. Yeah. I got a job at a baseball stadium, and then the government said not to have baseball games anymore. So now, instead of having a part-time job as a cashier, I have a full-time job selling fruit on Animal Crossing. Before everything started happening, I was going to therapy, and my therapist, he said to me, he was like, you have a tendency to isolate yourself. And I said, I don't know about that. I'm going to go think about it alone for a while. And then I thought about it and I went back and he was like, yeah, you do isolate yourself. You need to put yourself out there more. You need to meet new people. But then the CDC said we all had to stay inside for 2 months. So now I don't have to listen to anything my therapist says. That's the end of what I'm going to do for you. But we have a lot of great comics coming up. Your first comic is very funny. He's coming here from LA. Give it up for Kevin Heisinger.
Hi.
Clap.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Please, I need it. I'm doing this all from memory, guys. So just I'm gonna try to tell some jokes. Most of them are inside jokes. Hope it goes viral. Yeah. I broke up with my girlfriend recently. There were a lot of red flags, though. She was a communist, so I'm not sure I'm not sure what I expected going into that one. You guys, I'm starting to think this whole coronavirus was an inside job. All right, speaking of 9/11, I only got one. It's like, what do riding a bike and 9/11 have in common? Never forget. You know, of all the Jake Gyllenhaal movies to predict the apocalypse, you would think it was going to be like Day After Tomorrow, but I wasn't expecting Bubble Boy. I was not prepared for that. I've been reading a lot of books in quarantine. I read a book about the Golden State Killer. That was pretty good. Sacramento, represent. I just feel like every serial killer now, they have their thing that they're known for. Like Charles Manson had a cult. Jeffrey Dahmer was a cannibal, and Ted Bundy was like really hot. I'd fuck him. But like the thing about the Golden State Killer is that like the thing he was known for was having a micro penis. That was just his thing. And he would just go around killing people because of it. Like I'm trying to represent Sacramento here, guys. And like the only killer we have is the little dick killer. So that's unfortunate. I'm just kidding. There's another killer from Sacramento. He's the vampire killer.
Oh.
Richard Ramirez. Yeah, he was big in the 80s. And his whole thing was he would go to houses and see if they were unlocked. And if they were, he would see it as like an invitation to let himself in. And I read that. I was like, oh, like a vampire. And then I guess he would like eat them and drink their blood. And I read that and I was like, oh, like a vampire. I get it. Took me a while. You guys watch that new Scooby-Doo movie at all? It was pretty terrible. I actually got PTSD from it. Post-traumatic Scooby-Doo. I was trying to learn a new language in quarantine. I'm trying to like be productive. I learned some Spanish and German. I was trying to read, trying to learn Braille, but I wasn't really feeling it. And I think that's all I'm gonna do. You guys have been wonderful. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And my Venmo is Mr. Coolcat420. Thank you so much.
Venmo name.
Thank you so much. I think it's just Kevin Heisinger.
Not weird. Not weird. All right. Kevin did great, and we got another great comic for you. He's got a very professional-looking setup, and I feel very unqualified compared to him. Give it up for Robert Omoto.
Woo!
This is my toddler's karaoke machine. Don't get it. All right. You know what I think is good about this coronavirus for racist people is now they can just cross the street when they see a minority and they look like they're being a good person. You know, you could see the race you don't like cross the street and like, oh wow, this guy's really taking this thing seriously. And I like it because it allows me to be an asshole. I saw an old lady like drop a bunch of groceries and I looked and I didn't want to help pick it up and I didn't, and everyone looked at me like I was a good person. So. I was thinking, man, the U.S. has never really been invaded, you know, not for a long time. And I was thinking, man, like where would they even invade us? You know, like we would have to like storm like a beach in Normandy. Like where would a ship? That means a battleship would have to dock somewhere, right? Like where would they dock? They probably have to dock somewhere, like in Miami. Like how does that even look? Like a bunch of like military, like a bunch of guys from the Middle East get off the battleship and start just pistol whipping, coked up dudes and DJs in South Beach. But I admire, dude. Like I admire the camaraderie that the people in the military have, because those guys would all die for each other, you know. And I admire that because there's like 5 people on this planet that I would die for, and none of them are my coworkers. You know? Like if an active shooter ran through my office and was in the hallway, I would be throwing people I don't like in his direction. You know, I would just be looking Like, sorry, Sharon, you ask questions at the end of work meetings. Get out there. Like, what are you looking at, Steve? You walk around the office barefoot. Hallway. All right, then KCRA shows up. They do a whole news report. She's like, I'm here live. The active shooter's been caught. He said it was weird. People were flying in the hallway. It was like skeet shooting. And then they interview me, and they're like, I'm here with local hero and lone survivor Robert Emoto. Like, Mr. Emoto, can you please take us through the events of this horrific afternoon? I'm like, yes, thank you, Christina. You know, I'm not a hero. I just did what I could. You know, a lot of friends died today. You know, there's a guy named Keith who took a bite out of my sandwich and put it back in the fridge. Like, he's no longer with us. Do what you can. I'm not good at giving bad news to people because, like, I make small talk. I might get nervous and I make small talk before it. I remember I lit my neighbor's. I was lighting fireworks and lit my neighbor's lawn on fire and knocked on the door. And they answered, like, "Hey, how's it going, Robert?" I'm like, "Good. How's your wife doing?" He's like, "Oh, good." I'm like, "Cool. I lit your lawn on fire." And I was like, "Just kidding. I actually ran over your dog." He's like, "What? No, I'm just kidding. No, I lit the lawn on fire, but your dog was on the lawn." But he's okay. I threw him in the pool, but the pool was empty. So it was full of rocks. I was thinking, man, there's always these method actors, man, and I wonder, they ad-lib in every movie. You always see those reels where stuff gets kept, and I wonder if it was like that in, like, the movie Brokeback Mountain. You know, like, did they say action and the director got mad? It's like, he cut. Like, you don't need to actually suck his dick. It's a waste up shot. Like, I don't know why you do that. And, like, was it like that for the movie Django? Because Leonardo DiCaprio says a lot of N-words in there. Like, did he like, was there a counter? Did somebody count? Did he ad-lib any of those N-words just to make it better, you know? Or was the entire staff sitting there with a clicker? Or is he so famous that Quentin Tarantino just let him do whatever he wanted? You know, his character wasn't even racist. He was just a shoe cobbler. He's like, I don't know why he's saying all these N-words. It's not even in the script. I think that's all I wanted to do. Thanks, you guys.
Hey, tapping at your computer. Not weird. Great job. We have 5 more comedians for you. 6? I don't know. I can't count numbers. Ever since quarantine started, can't read, can't count, can't do anything. Your next comedian is very funny. Looks like she's got something going on. Let's give it up for Erica Atreya.
Hello. COVID-19. What a clusterfuck, am I right? Alrighty. So, I mean, wow. My life was already hard enough with my social anxiety, my depression, my germophobia, my OCD. Now we got this, and I tell you, it's been getting bad. But the virus ruined St. Patrick's Day for us. It ruined Easter. It ruined Mother's Day. What next? We don't know. But for me, I know one thing, that it is added something to my plate, of my miserable existence that I did not need. You know, things have been so bad lately. One of my rituals in the evening is before bed, I like to check the burners, the knobs on my stove top. And, you know, it's been really bad lately, and I'm fighting with my OCD anxiety to check the knobs to make sure they're off. And then my depressive suicidal side is coming out and saying, just turn them on and let that gas fill the house. And that's a battle I go through every night. I find myself 20 minutes later still just going back and forth, you know, gas on, gas off, gas on, gas off, gas on, gas off. And by the time 20 minutes pass, there's my husband coming into the kitchen quietly just getting some water saying, honey, it's an electric stove. And that's just my luck. And what else? I like the mask. I do. I'm enjoying the mask, honestly. I don't have to check my teeth anymore. I have big teeth, always have. Don't have to worry about lipstick and lipstick teeth. Don't have to worry about returning from lunch break to work with, I just ate a spinach salad with poppy seed lemon dressing. No worries there. It's a blessing. And don't forget the nose boogers and those little ones that you spend an hour trying to get out before going back for an office meeting that you can only see if you raise your nose up and, touch them out. And you see those you get that little forest in there of things. And so I think I definitely like the mask. That can stay. It can stay forever. Fine. I'm good with that. Something else I'd like to talk about is, this other thing that I don't know if anybody's heard about it, but people have been licking and coughing on groceries. And this has happened more than once, cost almost $2,000 worth of damage was the highest one, I think. It's scary for me. I'm a germaphobe, and with my OCD, I already have issues with the idea of buying produce, knowing people have touched it. And now I have a whole new fear because and I hope this is a new thing that doesn't stick, because if this is like something it's got to stick in people's mind to go around every flu season now and freaking cough and lick groceries. I mean, what the fuck? Don't you got anything better to do than to try to torment other people? So that's scary. And I also have a fear that it's gonna someone's gonna one up it. And next thing I know, I need to be smelling every time I buy a cucumber or an eggplant because I got to worry about some sick fuck sticking up their butt and put it back on the shelf. So this is, yes, and I just put it out there, so someone's probably going to do it, but I can't help it. I have to tell somebody about it because these are the things going through my head lately, and I need to share. I really do. I need to share. So I think that's pretty much me for the night. But thank you for listening, and good mental health to everybody. Thank you.
Good job.
I think that right now, if you're not struggling with your mental health, then I hate you. Your next comic is a true Sacramento legend. Let's clap at our computers for Robert Barry.
Wow.
Hi, sorry. That's my impression of every Zoom call ever right now. I'm getting kind of worried, folks. Post office just changed all their forever stamps to Thursday. A lot of states are deciding when do they open things up again. Arkansas just had a soft opening, and after their soft opening, they saw an increase in infections. Which is always the case when you go to a soft opening in Arkansas. I think we should open up businesses slowly, though. Slowly, that's it. Yes, now flip that closed sign over gently so it says open. Oh, yeah. I like it. I'm not telling any tales. I'm kind of getting out of shape, In fact, I'm not even driving my car anywhere. My car has been inactive for so long. I had to loosen its timing belt. Even the murderers and serial killers are staying home. They're really screwing up the future of a true crime podcast. There, 10 years from now, there's going to be no murders from this time to look back to. They're going to have podcasts like "He Stood 4 Feet Next to Her." Dick's out on the Zoom call. Reporting drink tickets is lost income to EDD. My friend challenged me to post 10 album covers. Apparently he thinks I'm really stupid, and that's all I can handle as a challenge. Murder Hornets. Oh boy, Murder Hornets, right? What's next? Genocide beavers? Herpes hippos? Pecker peckers? It's a world gone wild. Disneyland's really struggling. They haven't been open in a while, and they may need to. They say they're going to be changing some of their attractions to better reflect today's changed world. So many rides are going to be "Honey, I'm Sick of the Kids" and "No Tomorrowland," the Hall of Irrelevant Fast Pass Machines, and it doesn't matter, Horn. I've been spending a lot of time writing, as many people do. In fact, I'm 50 words into my new book. Robert Barry gives up after 50 words. Yeah, I'm learning a lot of vocabulary now that I'm in quarantine, and I was told I learned the word bandersnatch is an interesting word. And someone said, "Can you use bandersnatch in a sentence?" I said, "Sure." My friend took her panties off on Facebook, so they bandersnatch. That's all I got. Have a good night, everybody.
Your computer. It's not weird to clap at your computer alone in your room. All right, we got another few comics for you. Your next one is very funny, and she's got really cool hair going on. Let's give it up for Jessica Roberts.
Hi, Jessica. What's up, everybody? It's always weird when you see your giant face. Anyway, I have 2 kids. Most people know that I have kids, and I get to know them a little bit differently now during the quarantine. Things that I didn't think I would mutter at 7 o'clock in the morning. Please don't stick goldfish in the dog's ass. Yeah, that was a weird one. And then the other one, I had to tell my son to get off the floor because he looked like a mechanic underneath my dog. And my dog's a boy, and he was like flicking it. I don't know what it is about little boys and flicking it, but they totally enjoy it. My son's potty training, so it's really weird because he'll take his diaper off and there's just no way of keeping it on. Guys just want to take their clothes off. Anyway, he was playing one of the little kid apps on my phone. And then again, one of the things I never thought I would say, please get your penis off mommy's phone. So, yes, mental health during this whole quarantine and everything is awful. I already suffer from PTSD because I was in foster care. If you guys don't know what foster care is, it's okay. Probably because your parents loved you, you know. But I just had to, like, on Mother's Day, it said, post it, Mom. So I posted like 5, and people were like, is this like a lesbian thing, or is this like a sister wives thing? Like, what's going on here? And I said, no, it's a... So that was usually fun. But because of, you know, foster care and other stuff, I have PTSD. But having PTSD doesn't necessarily mean that it's super shitty, because I forget stuff. My brain tries to protect itself, and so it shuts off. So I forget things really easily. But it's not a bad thing, because, you know, you can use it to your advantage if you don't. I have said plenty of times that I have forgotten my coworker's cat's birthday. Oops, PTSD. You know, so that's usually fun. It's pretty nice. It's kind of like the Etch-a-Sketch of your brain. Yeah, my ex-husband, now ex-husband, like, remember arguments we had? I don't remember. I do remember, but I was waiting to use that fucking ammunition in another argument. I didn't want to use it then. So, yeah. It's kind of weird, this whole quarantine thing, because, like, I'm a fucking extrovert. I can't stand being in my house. I don't like it. It gives me anxiety, but then when I go outside, I even get more anxiety because I'm like, these motherfuckers better not cough on me and shit. So it's just like, it's a weird double-edged sword. It's not a fun one either. It's not like, you know, 47 Ronin or anything fun. So it's kind of fucked up. Yeah, and there's a lot of social injustice and keyboard warriors right now. But I literally saw a guy at 7-Eleven today get fucking so mad that he wanted to fight the guy. The poor little dude running the 7-Eleven, he wanted to fight this guy because he didn't give him a nickel. Now, mind you, this guy's probably about 4 foot tall, had Napoleon syndrome from fucking hell. And I'm just like, if the little ones go, the rest of them are sure to fucking follow. So we have to be careful out there and mindful. Pretty soon, it is going to be the apocalypse, and I'm telling you, you better have a fucking helmet because it's going to hurt. But that's why I did my hair. Anyway, I'm really grateful for Stab Comedy. I'm so grateful to see all my lovely friends that I haven't seen in fucking forever. And that will be it for me tonight. And thank you, Maddie, for hosting this.
A reminder to follow and subscribe to Stab if you have not, and if you are joining us now or not at the beginning. So do that, please. I beg you. All right, you got another comedian. I'm very excited to see him. He's got a hat on inside. Never seen him with a hat off. Good to know he wears them inside too. Give it up for Joey G.
Woo! Woo! What's up, guys? I hope everybody's doing well. My family's kind of going through a little bit of a crisis right now. We were all having dinner the other night, and right in the middle of it, my son stands up on the table, and he just starts singing show tunes from Cabaret. And I mean, not for nothing, guys. Like, that's my only son. You know what I mean? Like, I found that very upsetting to me. He knows I'm a Les Mis guy, and I found it very disrespectful. I keep telling him, you know, the choreography in Cabaret is very trite and overdone. A grizzly bear in its natural habitat. So he planned this big camping trip up to Alaska, and during this trip, he unfortunately and maybe ironically was mauled to death by a grizzly bear. The tragedy was that it actually attacked him from behind, so the poor bastard never even got to see it coming. I guess that's life. A friend of mine was going through a really tough time. His girlfriend had just broken up with him, just really, really depressed. And we were talking one day, and he said to me, "Joey, I don't think there's anything more physically or emotionally exhausting than crying yourself to sleep at night." And that made me feel bad, you know? So I wanted to rectify that. So I had him jump in my car. We drove around for a long time. I actually drove him out into the middle of nowhere. And then I pulled a gun on him. And I forced him to dig his own grave. He agreed. That was much more physically and emotionally exhausting than crying yourself to sleep like a little bitch all night. And then I shot him. So I don't like it when people make me feel bad. You know? Problem solved. When I was a little kid, I would always hear about the fashion police because I guess I dressed weird. And people would tell me about them all the time. And I always thought it was fake. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't think that was a real thing. It was something people said. And then I moved to South Sacramento, and I found out that the fashion police are indeed very real. They send a helicopter over my house every day, and they're screaming from this loudspeaker, "If you see a guy in jean shorts and a red hat, call 911. Or if you see a guy in a green tracksuit and a yellow bandana, call the authorities immediately." They're just up there all day flying around looking for dudes in fucked up color combinations, man. I wish the real cops would work that hard, man. I never hear from those fucking guys. Kind of bullshit, you know? I recently found out through the powers of Ancestry DNA that the person who I thought was my grandfather was actually not my grandfather. And that was actually kind of devastating to me because the person who I thought was my grandfather was a fucking monster. And that made it really easy to just blame my own personality defects on a shitty bloodline. and I found out that my actual grandfather was a wonderful man. So, fuck. You know? I guess I'm just a shitty person. That's actually all I wanted to do tonight, guys. Thanks so much. This is pretty weird, but awesome.
This is very weird, but it is fun. Give it up for Joey. He's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Okay, we got a couple more comics, and your next one, great comic, very excited. Let's keep clapping at our computers for Jesse Rivera.
Hey. What's going on, everybody? How you guys doing, man? I fucking miss you guys. First of all, just let me say that I miss you guys. This pandemic hasn't been great for me. I get really bad anxiety, and I do a lot to work on my mental health. And I don't know if you can tell, a couple days ago, I went full Britney Spears, 2007. And I was either going to go Britney Spears 2007 or John Belushi 1982. I opted for the latter, so I'm still here. Watching a bunch of stuff on Netflix and television lately. The Last Dance documentary was great. The Beastie Boys documentary was great. People keep asking me if I watched the Tiger King thing. Well, like when that first came out, I asked people, well, what's it about? And they're like, oh, it's this like flamboyant gay tweaker. And I was like, I grew up in Bakersfield. I'm done with flamboyant gay tweakers. I left Sacramento a couple weeks ago, just temporarily. I came back to Bakersfield to visit my mom. And I don't know what you guys know about Bakersfield. We're known for like meth, valley fever, and diabetes. It's not good here. I'm coming back as soon as I can. Like I was saying, when this whole pandemic started, like I was freaking out because like Jessica said earlier, like I'm an extrovert also, and I need human interaction. So being like locked up in my house for 2 weeks at the very beginning of the pandemic, for 2 weeks, I was going crazy. And the first person that I was able to talk to was one day my pesticide guy came by, and it had been 2 weeks since I'd talked to anybody. And man, I ran out there and I started talking to him, and I started making small talk, and I was like, hey, how you dealing with the pandemic? Are you handling the lockdown okay? And he looked at me, he's like, buddy, I grew up in Iraq. And I was like, oh, do you know my friend Hussein? And I was like, no, just kidding. And he was like, I grew up in Iraq. And then like, I guess like my reaction to him was like, I don't know anything about Iraq. So he gave me like a brief history of Iraq that like started in 2003 and ended with him and his family fleeing in 2007. So I guess what I'm trying to say is like a fat American should never try to talk about his oppression to a refugee from Iraq. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Hey, did anyone else spend their stimulus check on dumb shit? I did. I spent my stimulus check on luggage and work clothes. I'm not going to use any of that stuff, but I was really excited because I recently I lost 60 pounds. So I was like, dude, I want to buy work clothes because like I said, I lost 60 pounds. Like I found some confidence. I found some self-esteem. I found my dick. I was just finding everything, you know? It was great. And it's just going good. And I'm loving it. So we're getting reacquainted. I was like, where were you when I needed you, buddy? He was there. He was there. He was just, you know, the whole turtle in the shell thing. Yeah, dumb shit. Oh, let me finish with this. I did my first telemedicine thing. Does everybody know what telemedicine is? It's kind of like this, but instead of talking to a bunch of comics in the crowds, like you're talking to your doctor, you know? Mm-hmm. So I was talking to my doctor, and my doctor was like, oh, you lost a bunch of weight. And like, she didn't believe me. She like made me stand on my scale, and like I showed her, and she was like, oh, okay, I believe you. And she's like, well, how's everything working? Like, you know, your health good, everything good? And I was like, it's good. And she was like, can I see a stool sample real quick? And I was like, right now? And she's like, you know, I'll wait. Can you, give me a stool sample? And I was like, so I like got up and left, and I was like, what the fuck am I, but luckily my dog had just pooped, and I was like, oh, this is it. Like, I'll just show her my dog's poop, because like, it's going to be like small and compact and like a good color. Like, she's not going to have any questions, you know? So I came back and I showed her to her, and she was like, I don't know, Jesse. I think I'm gonna have some follow-up questions for you about this. So, my at-home colonoscopy kit comes in the mail tomorrow. So I'll let you guys know how that goes. Hey guys, I think that's all my time. Follow my fans only, bigboy.com, and I'll see you around. Thanks for everything. I miss you guys. Take care. We'll get through this, guys.
We're gonna get through this. We're gonna do it. Your next comic is very funny. She's one of my favorite people. Give it up for Heather Rogiers. Rogiers?
Hello.
Hi, Heather.
How's everybody doing? I am thriving. I just have to say, I'm really killing this quarantine thing. I've been training my whole life for this, so it's all paying off now. I'm pregnant. Okay. Apparently, I have to teach you guys how to be an audience right now. That was an applause moment. That was not a laugh. I think people are starting to notice my glow. Like the other day, I was out on a walk, as we are allowed to do, and but I overheard this guy talking, from 6 feet away, and he told his friend, he was like, "Hey, do you think that's a boy or a girl?" And I looked over to him, and I was like, "I don't know. I haven't even had the ultrasound yet." And he looked at me, and he said, I think the nicest thing anyone has ever said to me before. He said I needed more surgery. Can you believe that? He thought I had some surgery. I'm sorry. I just, I was ready to have his babies. I was ready. The technology was not, but I was. My vagina, it's more like this show, Like I'm having a good time, but there's no production. Yeah. People always act like surgery is like the finish line of being a trans woman. Like if you get the surgery, that's real commitment. You know what I mean? And honestly, I think voice training takes a lot more commitment. Because surgery, it's like you kind of just need enough money. You just like go in and it's just like, okay, let's do it. Voice training, you wake up every day. You know what I mean? Like I lost 3 days in a row and I'm ready to go get myself a medal. You know what I mean? And there's trans women who wake up every day like opera singers, like la 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 la. Oh man. And I don't need to sound like a Barbie. I just don't want to sound like a plot twist. You know what I mean? Like, I'm tired of like, a guy will talk to me and I'll say something back and then he'll look like I just gave him a math equation that he has to solve, and if he can't solve it in time, he turns gay. He'll be like, okay, XY plus XY. Am I gay? And I feel for the guy because that's just the start, then you have to figure out what kind of gay you are. And do you know how much variety there is to that? That's like harder than finding the right snack at 7-Eleven. It's like, do I want an Otter Pop or a Bear Claw or a Twinkie? But no, that's not why I transitioned. I didn't do it just to turn guys gay. I do it because the government pays me to turn people gay. It's a conspiracy. It's a vast conspiracy. The government was like, "Hey Heather, we got a job for you." I was like, "Oh, hey, government, I loved you in Vietnam." They're like, great. Listen, we need you to turn straight men gay. I was like, anything for my country. One question. Why? And they were like, we're trying to get more American men to wash behind their balls. All right. I'm done. Thank you guys so much. That was fun.
Woo! Okay, we got one more comment for you, and he's your killer. Give it up for your headliner, David Thorne.
Woo!
Hold on.
Uh-oh.
Oh no.
Oh, man. I had to have the Stab background because this felt exactly like an open mic at Stab. Doing comedy in front of a bunch of comedians. All my favorite people. How you guys doing tonight?
Woo!
As you can see, I'm wearing a headband. I'm going to start rocking them because headbands are basically like the beanies of summer. This particular headband has the Sacramento Kings and Crown Royal on it. I like to support two of my favorite things, the Sacramento Kings and alcoholism. Just kidding. I'm just kidding. I don't like the Sacramento Kings, but White Claw's pretty damn good. My shirt, it says best clucking dad ever, which is a lie. I'm a really shitty father because I don't have kids. I wear this shirt ironically, you know, because the only place I've ever been called daddy is in the bedroom. But really the reason is because it has a big white cock on it. Oh. I've been streaming a lot lately. That's basically an excuse to sit home, talk to myself, and play video games because it's not mental illness if you're live streaming. I live stream a lot of Call of Duty, and playing Call of Duty, it really makes me not feel bad about school shootings, because if you played with a bunch of little 13-year-olds or a bunch of little racist necrophiliacs, I mean, you can only say you fucked my mom so many ways, she's dead. But I was on Facebook the other day and I saw an ad for become a volunteer high school esports coach. And I was like, if I'm going to be a high school esports coach, I'm about to call the team the school shooters. So I was walking today and I saw this sign out beside somebody's home that said protected by Smith and Wesson. And I thought, man, what kind of weird booby trap do they have where you go in and it distracts you by playing the Smiths and then you slip on a piece of metal covered in Wesson oil? Oh, people often tell me that I look like Toby from This Is Us, but hearing my accent, I sound more like I would tell black people your name is Toby.
Oh,
that's so bad. Oh, fuck. Where do I go from there? Where do I go from there? I don't even know how long I've been up here, but I know that this set has been brought to you by White Claw. White Claw, if you're watching, you should sponsor me and Stab Comedy Theater because, as you know, the claw is law. Pabst Blue Ribbon actually made their own version of hard seltzer, which is actually more potent than White Claw. It's like 8% alcohol by volume, but I like to refer to it as White Trash Claw. Anyway, guys, this has been fun. I'm going to go back and hand it back to our illustrious host, Maddie Nishimi.
Hey. Right? At the end of it, if you're watching this from anywhere, please donate to Stab if you can. Their Venmo is my name right now, @Stab Theater. Subscribe to their Twitch. Somehow support your comedy community. Thank you, guys.
Yay, Jesse! Bye, guys.
Bye.
Good seeing you.
That's all I hang out sometime.
When the road looks rough ahead. nice warm bed. You just remember what you're all about.